how to make the most of it. There's going to be a lot of people, I sometimes fall in that category. I say, okay, I've done my 5 prayers. Do I really, if I skip Tarawih today because I've got a gathering or I've got to be out, I have to go to Suhoor gathering, I'll pray Tarawih when I can. What's the best way to make the most of Ramadan, and why are these late night prayers so important?
All right, so before anything, if you ask anybody, you have a very important project that you're going to make a lot of money off. Man, people are going to, plan everything, got these charts, Gantt charts and planning and all the applications just to get everything right, task by task, responsible days, deadlines, things like that. Ya akhi, you're planning for Jannah, eternity, happiness, eternal happiness in paradise, and you're pleasing Allah. Why can't you just plan a little bit? Plan ahead and have your day planned so you can get the most out of it. So really, people need to get into this habit of planning their day in Ramadan and planning their month. So when should you recite the Quran? Have a time for recitation of the Quran. Have a time for resting so you don't get really exhausted through the day. Have a time, for example, even for exercise if you have the time and can afford it. Then have a time for Taraweeh, have a time for dhikr. And all this stuff should be planned day by day and be consistent about it. That's when you get the best out of Ramadan. Stay away from things that will take or will drive you away from acts of worship. Subhanallah, nowadays we see people when it's Ramadan, you say, what is Ramadan to you? Oh, a lot of food and gatherings. Musalsalat. The Arabs, musalsalat, and the English, so it's shisha time, it's buffet time, it's whatever time, it's sleeping time. And this really contradicts the whole concept and the idea of Ramadan. Ramadan is about intensity, it's about hardship, it's about you got to go there and you got to give it the best. And after Ramadan, you pick up these habits and you keep going until next Ramadan. And next Ramadan, you pick it up again. And that's how it is. So socializing and sleeping and all that stuff really beats the purpose of Ramadan. Taraweeh, I highly recommend Taraweeh. Taraweeh is a beautiful way into connecting with Allah, getting closer to Allah, increasing your faith, your spirituality boost. And I highly recommend people to go to Taraweeh as much as you can, even if it's the whole month of Ramadan in the masjid. Fulfill it all, from the takbir until the salam.
So let's talk about the practices during fasting. A lot of people say if you put perfume during fasting, your fasting is not going to be accepted. If you brush your teeth, the paste might, you can taste it or something, and then your fast is. So let's talk about those common mistakes that people tend to make, and is it a mistake or not?
Okay, so we're talking in specific about nullifiers of fasting. It's very simple. I'll give you the qaida, the rule, and then we'll build on that. Anything that enters the food pipe and into the stomach, that nullifies fasting. And anything that replaces food, which is nutritional, that nullifies fasting. Now let's build on that. Perfume, based on the rule that I just gave you, it doesn't enter the food pipe and it's not a food replacement. Doesn't nullify the fast. What did you say? Paste? Toothpaste.
Yeah,
Toothpaste, we spit it out. I don't think anybody with his right mind would swallow the toothpaste, right? Unless by mistake.
Yes.
By mistake is different. Mistakes are excused. Mistakes and forgetfulness is excused.
Right.
But now, let's not get too specific. Oh, the little particles and I taste it. Tasting is in your mouth. It doesn't get in here, right? Because of tasting buds. So these small little particles of toothpaste doesn't nullify. These are insignificant. Just like when we do wudu, ablution, we rinse our mouths. So definitely there'll be particles of water that would probably slip in. That doesn't nullify the fasting. Insulin, or not insulin, sorry, what do you call them? IV fluids?
Yes.
That's a new replacement, food replacement. That nullifies.
Right.
So these are the nullifiers of fasting. Also, just to add, in some scholars did say, because there were some ahadith, they said puking, throwing up intentionally can nullify the fasting. But the correct saying, wallahu ta'ala alam, that it doesn't.
Right.
Based on the rule that I just gave you.
Okay.